Now, we've been up to a lot on this channel. From cooking to chatting, from Minecraft to music critiquing, that I didn't know what else to do until today.
Oh, man. I do not know what I am doing today. All I know is I had an idea in mind. Well, the idea was I would come up with an idea in mind. Yeah, I don't know any ideas. Now, it is very, very cold. It's currently winter. I know that may sound a tad weird to you Northern Hemisphere people when it's summer. But, unfortunately, because of the globe and all that, I don't know why, Google it, it's winter. It's winter down under, winter over there, I don't know where I'm pointing, but down there, at the south, right? So it's winter down here, and it's quite cold. Now, I don't really know what to talk about, but what I do know what to say is I have subject selection meeting today, so I'm picking like some subjects for next year. So that's kind of exciting because, you know, you're looking towards the future, you're taking it in, you know. Now, I have particularly noticed that my Minecraft videos haven't really been watched by any of you guys in particular, because most of my videos, they have about maybe a 70% subscribed rate, and then 30% of you aren't really subscribed, so I've noticed that. But the other videos, they had 95% of the viewers were not subscribed, and 5% were. So I assume that a lot of them are new viewers, which is fantastic, but they aren't really too interested in the content we're creating over here. So then that kind of doesn't help, and you guys probably aren't really interested in the Minecraft content. So technically I've got two strands of viewers, but I can't really mix it in. So that does mean maybe, just maybe, I might create a gaming channel so that like the two, they don't, you know, mix. But, of course, because my headphones broke, I can't necessarily record right now. But fortunately, my birthday's coming up, so I shall ask for some new headphones. Easy as. So yeah, I got the day off today because subject selections is today, and I can't really go to school because the teacher is at school. They're meeting up with other students. It is kind of fun, per se, I guess. I mean, they have to go to 8 p.m. because like some people can't necessarily get there during the school day, like my mum, because she's working right now. I'm at home by myself. I have no idea what to do right now. I'm just roaming. Well, not really roaming. I'm just sitting back, relaxing, keeping cold. I mean, keeping warm, not keeping cold. Wouldn't want to keep cold. I don't really have much else to say, but what I do want to say is I don't plan to get any copyright anymore, so we ain't playing any music, but we can always look up royalty-free music. I'm sure there's a platform for that. Why am I here? Don't get why I'm looking this way. Let's look this way. So I can always look there. Keep spinning. I can always look for a royalty-free platform. Goodness me, I got the burps in because I ate some crisps, you know. Anyway, royalty-free music. We love a good Ooh, Ben's Sound. Royalty-free music for films and videos. Royalty-free. Soundstripe. Royalty-free music for video, YouTube, and a podcast. Fun fact, this is episode 4 of the Patterson podcast. If you haven't realized, I've been putting these little chat videos in a playlist called the Patterson podcast, all about myself. maybe it'll, grow into something amazing, fantastic. But who really knows? Anyway, royalty-free music. Let's hear some royalty-free music, man. All right. Well, yeah, let's have some fun. So there's a fun category. I want to hear some fun music. All right. So is this free music? I would assume so. If it isn't, then that's rude. Anyway, speaking of music, I absolutely love music. Specifically not copyright free music, so like ones on Spotify. They're all fantastic. Love them. I found some artists that are really, really cool. I've also, delved into artists that are just really popular, so people who actually know them. Like the one back there. Taylor Swift. Love Taylor Swift. She's pretty cool. There's definitely some other artists that are also pretty cool that I listen to, but I don't really need to delve into which ones I listen to. I just listen to a lot of music, and it made me come to think about what if I made a track list for myself, for what I've delved into during my life. So I wrote a track list as if I was going to create an album. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be creating an album anytime soon because one, that sounds like a lot of work, and two, that also sounds like a lot of work. So, I don't really want to do that. So it's also a lot of work. There's just a lot of work that has to go into putting an album out, and yeah, I'm not interested in doing that work. Plus, I don't really know if I can sing. Haven't really tried it before. Well, probably have by accident. Don't know if it's good enough. And I don't really want to test it out. So we ain't testing it out. We ain't making an album. But what I did do is make a track list. And it is fantastic. There's a couple tracks that are pretty interesting. And I feel like I should probably share it with you if I'm just going to bring it up. So we have track 1. A Measly Act. This is about how I kept thinking that my behaviour in year 7 was just measly acts. A few measly acts that happened, but in reality it wasn't exactly a measly act, really. It was a lot of big consequences that led to a horrible life. And that's what the song would be about if I were to write it. So it's quite an interesting track. Then there's track 2, Across the Classroom. This is about my 5th consequence kind of thing, where I kind of threw a chair across the classroom towards someone. That wasn't a very good decision, but it's more going over how from the 4 measly acts that happened in track 1 that were brought up there, so there was 4 of them. The 5th one in Across the Classroom, the growth that happened between those 2 periods, and then also after that event happened. So I think it's a good one. It's definitely something I do like. And then there's the third track, which is the title track, In Reality. You may have heard me say In Reality in a sentence a little bit earlier. This one's an interesting one too, because it goes into what really happened in my reality. So what you saw were portrayals of my story, but I'm going to talk about what happened in my reality, what happened in reality for that song. So that's what I would talk about. And I think it's a good one because it really, kind of brings out what the album is about. It's not all about consequences and bad behavior, but it definitely is about some of that interesting stuff that I went through over the last 3 years. So it even includes some stuff that's happened now too. Then track 4, We Blame You, would be in capital letters. Plus it's also in quotation marks because it's not like essentially, it's kind of like someone said it, like, we blame you! Now, we're not blaming me, of course, we're blaming the students within my class that actually kind of caused that anger built up to then eventually chuck it at them. Like how I threw a chair at someone, I slapped someone, I got really angry, and I got really angry 5 different times, and it ended up having a lot of consequences, specifically suspensions, that really messed with my head, and it really ruined my kind of great life I had. Not really, I didn't really have a great life, but kind of ruined it. I didn't really have that much fun in my life. But fortunately, track 5 comes with a great story, and it's called Familiar Stranger, where I had a crush on someone who I was only just familiar with, and they were a complete stranger. They were in the grade below me. I had 0 classes with them. They barely even came to school, but when they did, their presence was crazy. It enlightened me. It was insane, and that's what the song is about. We're finally going to get some love. Of course, sometimes you just need that love in your albums. And that's what Familiar Stranger will bring me. But then part 2. Yes, I know. Track 6 is called Part 2, and that is about Part 2 of the Familiar Stranger story. So eventually meeting that familiar stranger, becoming acquainted, acquainted to that person, and also their friend. So made some new acquaintances, but eventually growing away from that, because honestly, after meeting them about a month later, it was way too terrible. Honestly, I felt really guilty for doing some things, and honestly, I just wanted to kill myself. Fortunately, I'm still here, but then the summer holidays came in. So Northern Hemisphere, your winter. So during January, December, and February, where the summer holidays was going on, I was like, okay, it's the end of the year. I can just sit back, relax, enjoy Christmas, enjoy the new year, start fresh, and completely move on. So that's what part 2 is about, moving on from that familiar stranger, going into a whole new beginning for 2024, which is this year. Now, track 7, I know this is pretty interesting, pretty iconic, but it's called Number 7. It's actually asking the question, number 7, so question mark. So the reason why I'm asking number 7 is because I was thinking this was a 7th suspension. But in reality, it wasn't really a 7th suspension, because it's not on my record. So, how most suspensions go on your record, it's not on my record. So if I were to be suspended right now, say I was suspended right now, that would be my actual 7th suspension. So in reality, it wasn't really one, and I was kind of questioning if it was one, how I was dealing with the suspension, and how I dealt with the break from, that suspension happening when I was suspended to coming back to school, which obviously felt really weird. Eventually, track 8. Why am I saying eventually? Just track 8 exists. It's called Yet I'm Just a Boy. It's a very interesting track. It's about crushes and how I blame being a boy for these crushes, So yeah. Blaming being a boy for having crushes on people. And it was a lot of crushes, really. Because, honestly, because of puberty, you just go through a lot of crushes. I can definitely say that, man. Honestly, I'm blaming myself for just being a boy. And that's why I blame all the crushes. That's who I blame the crushes on, being a boy. Track 9, Sophisticated. Finally, we get to some good stuff. Oh my gosh, it was definitely some interesting stuff that we were going through. But finally, some good stuff where my life finally becomes sophisticated. It's actually after number 7. So number 7's happened. And then after that kind of story happens, then you get to Sophisticated. So you kind of get to see the story of Sophisticated. So you get to see how my life actually becomes sophisticated. Then you have track 10, Intrusive Thoughts. It's also got a question mark on the end because you're asking about the intrusive thoughts, because I had so many thoughts of suicide that honestly, why not make a song about it? Not that I'm going to write it though. And then track 11 called Too Much. It's about how some friendships, some relationships can just be a bit too much sometimes. And honestly, that's fair enough. Now, track 12 is how I have a fake kind of reality that's represented just by a calendar. It's called A Calendar, and I think it's a very interesting track because you don't really think about fake realities ever before. You don't come up with fake realities, but sometimes you do. And I did. I came up with this incredible fake reality that's fantastic, but it's all represented all by a calendar. Not that calendar over there, a different calendar online. But honestly, it's a great reality, and I think it definitely deserves to be talked about. I think it's funny it's on track 12 because, a calendar year has 12 months. So, it's kind of fun. Anyway, track 13 is called Just Say It. The reason why it's called Just Say It is because I feel like in my head there's like this voice that's telling me to just say it. Because during the sophisticated timeline, I had the most impulsive thoughts. Whenever I thought something, I just said it. I just said everything. Literally everything. Honestly, I would not stop talking. Literally, that would never happen. I know, I was just silent just then. That would have never happened during that period. And honestly, it's kind of crazy that it would have never happened because, honestly, you don't want to just have impulsive thoughts every single time because you just keep speaking. And honestly, you say some weird stuff. You say some wacky stuff when you're just saying things constantly. You're not even thinking about what you're going to say. And honestly, I'm glad I do think about what I say now. Slightly. It's a little bit better. Anyway, track 14, the last track of the actual album, is called I Wanted It For You, Not For Me. The reason why it's called that is because essentially it's about how I wanted something for a friend, actually two friends at the same time, and it ended up kind of being more just for me rather than for them. And that's a bit of an issue. It ended up causing a little bit of turmoil with the friend that I was talking about, well, one of the friends, and then it kind of grew us apart, and then also it kind of divided the two friends that were, having that something, and it's a little interesting, that track, and I think it would be an introspective track if it were to be real. Now, if you'd like, you can write the songs for me, and then I'll consider singing it. But you need to write it for me. So if anyone's willing to write it for me, you can check my email, wherever it is on the YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. Email me, drop me an email, and yeah, email me the lyrics, but you have to give me the lyrics for every song, so all 14 of them, and then I'll be willing to sing it. But with no lyrics, I ain't singing nothing, alright? So I hope that's a good promise. But yeah, I think that was a good little episode today. Went a little bit longer. I think that's nice to see. Yeah. I've got subject selections coming up soon. That'll be pretty cool. And yeah, I can't really wait. Well, I can wait, but I don't really want to wait anymore. I just want it over and done with. But fortunately, we have 6 hours. I think 5 actually. 5 hours to just vibe, I got the whole day off. So it's about 1:10 p.m. What would I typically be doing? I'd be having lunch right now. That's what I would be having. But in about 20 minutes, typically I would have math. So I'm glad I'm not doing math. Who wants to do math, man? I don't want to do math. Oh, thank God I get the math day off. Whew. Anyway, let's just sit back, relax, enjoy the day. Though I ain't recording it, so yeah, this is kind of the end of the video. So see you guys later. See you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Who knows when it'll come out? Hopefully the next episode is going to come out around my birthday. I think that'll be fun. And yeah, hopefully I recorded it. Oh my gosh, that's a bit of an issue because like it was down there. I mean, if you didn't record it, then it's going to be a bit of an issue because I ain't recording this again.